Welcome to the Echo Essentials podcast. My name is Chris Piekarski, and today we have a very special episode, an absolute heater of an episode, where, we are, as you can probably tell from the title, we are saying goodbye to our friend Dave Dale as a permanent host of Echo Essentials. He will be joining us periodically throughout time. We can never get rid of Dave. But I'm joined by former Echo Essentials host, Scott Clark, and we talk about the creation of Echo, Essentials specifically, their relationship, obviously some big stories happening in the city right now related to City Hall, just like some really, really good stuff. You could tell, just as like the new guy, I could tell they have like so much to talk about. They have so many different unique experiences. And, whether you're a passionate follower of local journalism and news, whether you just love hearing the sound of me speak, which you don't, let's be honest, or you are a passionate Dave follower, and I know there are many of you out there, this is a episode that you want to listen to. So we're going to throw it to us in a second here. But first, I want to throw it to our title sponsor, Homewood Suites by Hilton North Bay.
North Bay's turning 100, and what a time to be here. From the buzz of the Heritage Parade to sunset concerts at the waterfront, the city is alive with celebration. And you know who's right in the middle of it all? Homewood Suites by Hilton North Bay. We're proud to be a part of this milestone moment. Whether you're coming home from a family reunion, planning a gathering with friends, or just simply making the most of everything the Centennial has to offer, our doors are open. Stay in a spacious suite that feels like home, with a full kitchen to cook in, room to relax, and a space to unwind after a full day of fun. Are you hosting something bigger? Our event spaces and amazing local partners like the Grand and Stock Transportation make it easy to bring people together. Best of all, they're just steps from the action. The fireworks, the food trucks, the music, the laughter, it's all right here. Celebrate 100 years of North Bay with us. Use code Centennial to save on your stay anytime this year. Be at home with Homewood Suites by Hilton North Bay. Join the party today at 495 Oak Street West or give us a call at 705-495-3000.
We have a different episode today because we have a couple of other hosts with me because we have a very special episode today. Featuring joining me, I have the lovely Scott Clark.
Nice.
Yeah. And the guest today is actually
Not
Dave
so
Dale.
lovely.
The not so
The weathered. Actually, you're looking good, Dave.
Hey, looking good.
Actually,
Looking
I like
good.
your
Feeling
haircut.
Good. Feeling good, man.
You look good.
Yep.
Your haircut's looking good.
Got that little, brush cut. It's nice.
Yeah, I found a new hairstylist
Look at you.
at the Hunt Club.
And so today, we are covering your last official permanent show as a co-host. Because you have all these new things happening.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk a bit about those, but we're going to celebrate you today, Dave Dale.
Hey, right on.
So,
We could celebrate me too if you want.
I mean, we can.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
We can. But yeah, so let's talk a bit about the journey, I guess. So do you want to maybe cut into how you guys kind of came together to kind of launch the Echo Essentials podcast or the vision of Echo at large? Because as some of the listeners know, I kind of came into this game a couple months ago. I was not here for the inception, but I have been a longtime follower. I need the deep lore. Let's talk about
deep
it.
lore.
Yeah.
I went back in my day timer and I pulled out lunch date with Dave, October 27th, 2022. Does that sound?
Yeah, 2
Makes
days
sense.
after the election.
Is it? Would it? Then in my head I was thinking the election's November, but maybe that's the United States. So it must have been right after. It was right after the election,
Yeah, I believe so.
and it was Dave had taken a pretty good beating after writing a column about the mayor not the mayor. It was the mayor, the candidate to be mayor, Peter Chirico, and not getting along with his neighbor. Oh my gosh, Dave was taking a beating on that one. Like, I'd say both sides, right? Like,
It was split. It was split on people, how they took it. And the commentary online, and I debated a few people, was predominantly negative, and some were mostly aghast that I would go there.
But there was a story behind it too. That when you get to spend, there's a certain part when you read Dave's columns and things that you sort of get an impression. Then when you talk to him about the why, then it's really interesting. Can you explain how that column came to be, or are you open to explaining how that column came to be?
Sure. Probably. It goes back to when I was contemplating running for council myself.
That's right. Yeah.
And Peter came to my office at 176 Lakeshore, and we had a little meeting. He was checking out, see if I was deciding to run or not. This was about March 2022. And so, mayoral candidate goes around, make sure he's knows who's running and who's on his side and who isn't, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we had that conversation. I told him that I had already decided I was likely 99% sure I'm not running. I said I'd prefer to be on the journalist side. I could be a little bit more of an agent for change and help in the community that way. And I said, and also I would like to do a podcast interview after you announce for your candidacy, and I want to talk about he was on the board at Canador, and there's a few other issues I wanted some answers about. And I said, those are the topics I'd like to interview about when you announce. And he told me he was about to announce, I think he was going to announce April 28th, and he was thinking about doing it at the Gardens, just to sort of put that renovation issue aside, and just work like that. I don't know exactly why, but because of the provincial elections happening in June, he announced in a letter or a release, I think it was around end of April, beginning of May. I have intentions to run for mayor, but I'm not going to do anything until after the provincial election. In that letter or that release, he said basically, I want to make North Bay great again. Right? That was the quote. And so
that was the actual quote.
Yeah. So, and before that, I was like, because he said he's interested in doing the interview. He has to check with George Burton to see what he can talk about. It would get permission, basically. I had asked him if he got permission to do a podcast. I didn't get a response. I got a little ticked. It sounded like I was going to get, he was going to avoid it. So I wrote a column about that letter saying he shouldn't be tying his campaign to that crap that was going down in Trump land and using those terminologies. I said so I wrote a column. It's on Bay today. And we never did get to sit down for an interview. And when he started campaigning, remember when he wrote they had a release about, in August, I believe it was, and it was how he was going to be doing more than just sitting on his dock texting.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
And
when he took a swung at Al, yeah.
Takes a little poke at Al. And I wrote another column saying, why are you bringing negativity into this campaign? You could just smile and walk into the office if you want. And I said, I still want to interview you, and I want to interview on those. So that column's out there too. I think it was beginning of October, I bumped into him outside in that parking lot near the museum, right across from on Oak Street, and I kind of gestured him over, and he came, shook my hand. I said, Peter, when are we going to do that interview? I'm interviewing all those candidates. Remember?
Yeah,
so I had almost all the candidates interviewed.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I was just trying to be a journalist, right? And he told me, and I wrote it in the next column, that he goes where they tell me. I think that was his quote. And basically, that's his campaign team. And the message to me was, good luck, right? Because they didn't want me to interview him.
Oh, no? Did he give interviews to others?
Hey?
He gave interviews to others, I'm assuming? No? Or was nobody got an interview with him?
I don't know if he had very many sit-down interviews other than, no, I don't think so.
I can't remember.
I don't remember it. So, around the same time, somebody was telling me that he's got issues with his neighbors. And I got an email from one of the neighbors. It was the one on the other side. And he had a lot of things to say. We actually talked at length about it. I didn't think it was going to be a strong thing there, but that gentleman and others said, well, you should talk to his other neighbor, Sylvia Ross. She's got a big bone to pick with him. And I went to her place, I think it was the Sunday before I wrote the column. And that came out on the Wednesday before the election on the Monday, right? And when I met her, I got to her door. She greeted me with hugs and tears. And she was hoping she'd be able to talk to me because nobody's helping me deal with the issue. And she had a long-standing issue and feud with Peter because there was a Stuffle Street road allowance that was the lot in between Peter's place and her 2 lots in her home, right? And she said that he was using it and he should buy it and pay taxes on it like her. The city should not be just leaving it as a road allowance and open because he was getting the benefit of it and nobody else was. And the city wasn't benefiting. And she was a righteous and principled person. And she had stacks of documentation of all her attempts to get the bylaw officer involved and that she had stopped Peter from paving a secondary driveway on there. And she thought that it was wrong that he could do that. And she ended up calling the public works guy and getting it stopped. She had to do that with the previous owner of that property because Peter bought it in 96. And she had been there for a long time. And she had to stop that other guy from doing the same thing. And she's not to be trifled with. And so I videotaped their interview, and it was pretty powerful stuff, I thought. And I believed her. And I decided that it needed to be reported before the election because people should know that this is how the mayor gets along with his neighbor. And I think that's important. It speaks to his ability for conflict resolution, speaks to his character, and her allegations of entitlement. At the time, they had the biggest... There's a whole bunch of other things going on, but he was deputy mayor when the city was trying to sell every lot that they could find under Vic, right?
That's right, yeah.
But that property never ended up surplused. And she didn't believe, it didn't make sense to her. The rationale was that they wanted to keep it for potential pathway to connect with the city property that runs across Ski Club, and it connects to the ski hill, right? It's a billycoat path. Nobody's going to be walking up there. And plus, they already had the other property they could use. So she thought that didn't make sense. I thought it was worthwhile to expose that and do it as an election piece because it spoke to a potential leader and his qualities and abilities.
What was the fallout?
Well, it was dramatic and immediate. As soon as the column was posted, people thought it was a hit piece, and that it was unfair of me not to get his side. It was and put it in my column. It was unfair for me to do it right before the election.
Sorry, I'm just interrupt 1 second. But when you're doing, because you've taught me a lot of different things, or I still have lots to learn about journalism. But if you're doing a column, you don't have to get their opinion, right?
No, you don't have to.
But if you were doing a news story,
you would definitely.
You need their opinion. Okay.
Yeah. No, you'd want to have it balanced. You want to sit down and talk to him, see his side. I thought I wrote it in a way where so I basically put aside the other neighbors' complaints because they were a little bit less concrete and documented. But she had the receipts of her documentation. She had been the previous assistant manager of the airport, and I thought she had credibility, and I still do. And she's, doing a jig right now. Happy that to see what's been going on, even though it's tough on the city and others. It vindicates her position. Yeah.
So you don't regret in any way doing that story? Because that actually was one of the things that, like, going back to how this originally started. Yeah. The story was way deeper than I remembered.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. We got lore.
Yeah. It was, no, but it was interesting because I remember, there was a fair bit of heat, and I always felt because, I was never a
I
journalist.
regret not calling him
Oh, do you?
because he wouldn't have answered, and I could have just said, like they do now, attempts to get a hold of so-and-so were unsuccessful. That's what other people do now, right? So I didn't really think that he was going to call me back because I've been trying to interview him for 6 months.
Yeah.
So I didn't think he deserved that courtesy.
Right.
But I do regret actually making the call to say I made the call. I don't think he would have answered it.
And do you?
That's my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. Only because we can go too deep into this. I want to talk about
It's fair.
a few
It's
different
fair.
things. So we end up having lunch, right? And I'm going, God, Dave. And he was, by the way, he was doing some podcasts at this time. And I
Yeah.
thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
That he was doing these podcasts. And I thought they were really great. And there was some funny things that happened in it. And there was some great stories at the time. God rest his soul, George Marousis. I love when you were doing podcasts with George. He was working in the background. You're sort of doing an interview and he's busy working. And there were these nice, it didn't have a lot of like production quality, but I kind of liked them. They were good. And I said, hey, I've always wanted to do a podcast. And then he says, yeah, we should do podcasts. And that's how it just sort of got started. We started saying that, because when I worked at Rogers Communication, there was 40 something staff there, right? A full newsroom with Clancy McDonald was in there, right? Great guy. And it was a full newsroom of people. Actually, when I first started here in 1991, we had a full newsroom. TV had a full newsroom. The Nugget had, my God, how many people would have been in Nugget? Just the newsroom, how many would have been in there back in the 90s?
In the 90s, there was probably more than 25, probably 32.
Yeah, right? And then they're going to look for stories every day, right? So there's actual content. When I started, Joe Conlon did sports on the morning show. So I had a full-time sports person that did on the radio show. Sue Childs was doing news, and then there was I lost his name. He used to teach at Canada for a long time. Really good guy, but he also would do it with her at the same time. So they'd have like these co-hosts. So there's like 3 news people in the morning show doing news, right? Holy smokes! And so we were reminiscing about those days when, man, there was so much to talk about, so many things to do. And now over at Rogers, they pipe in a morning show from Toronto. And, it takes a lot. And, part of my learning journey through all this is like, holy smokes, it takes a lot to do what has to be done here. And I hand it to you guys with the shoestring budget and everything that we have trying to do this week over week. We said, let's do it. Let's just get started. And I went out right away, and it was the next week I met with a technical guy about setting this all up. Said, we can make this happen, and figuring it all out. And it's like, okay, we're getting the studio built. And then how quickly was it for you? You were the first employee. You were employee number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Did we hired in March that spring, eh?
No, February.
February?
I came in early February.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was still unemployed till July, I think. So I wasn't even looking for a job, and then I got hooked up with you, and then within 2 weeks I started.
So we didn't really do anything until Ben came on board, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. And then it was To North Bay with Love was the first sort of anchor show, right?
Yes. And that developed through the summer, actually. I think I went on the payroll July 1st myself. And then you ended up finding Lisa and a few other things. And we launched September 14th.
13th. But I'm not counting.
Oh, the first
Also-
podcast was one of the shows was the 14th.
Okay, Patient Zero has
Yeah,
this.
no, it was
Zero.
September 13th was the launch. I remember me and Chris were talking about this before. And then me and Bill were doing
Yeah,
stuff.
the launch was the 13th, but the first podcast,
it dropped the same day.
was it?
Yeah. But me and Bill were doing stuff since April, I think.
Yeah, Bill, I remember phoning Bill and it's like, hey, ever thought of doing a podcast? I love doing podcasts. It'd be great.
Automatic
He came in. He has never stopped. He's every week comes in, does his stuff, incredible stories. And, I wish him all the best. He's actually coming in here more using our Wi-Fi and that.
He's hanging out.
He's hanging out a bit more just because everything that's happened at Samuel de Champlain and the Ecology Center too.
Oh, cool.
But then we got started. I think I had written down our first show was February 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember who our first guest was?
Pop quiz.
Yeah, it was the snowmobile guy.
That's right, Sean Flindle.
And we recorded that before the Christmas, and that was...
That's right.
And there was no snow that year.
Yeah, that was the year there was like no snow.
It was a great interview, but
it was like no snow that year. That was our first. And and when we started getting into it, I was excited, like learning about, because we said, okay, we're not a journalistic outfit, but let's see if we can hero some of the journalists in the community. Dave is a journalist, so we just don't have the resources to do what journalists do. So how do we hero them? Let's bring them on. Let's tell stories. And Dave had such depth to tell different stories. We got started, and I was really proud about a number of things when I started seeing the power of it all. And when we got into, one of the first sort of series of ones we did was about Trout Lake development.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't just one person saying we shouldn't develop here. We got it. We got the developer. We had Indigenous. We had the city came in to talk about it too, because they started listening quite a bit, and they said, sure, we'll bring an expert on, and started talking about it. Then in this long form interview, you could have like a full sort of scope of what was going on. And I thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah, it was. It was very good. We did great work here. I'm proud of being part of it.
Yeah. It's not that we're ending, but
yeah. Well, I'm just moving away from a weekly commitment and available for as guest host or whatever anytime I'm needed.
Oh, make no mistake, my request to get you banned was denied. You will still be back. I'm kidding, but it's funny. I always love hearing these stories, and we've talked about stories before, and I always reminisce with Ben, but like how these projects kind of come to be from like an idea to being like real. Mm-hmm. Right? I love hearing about these things. And I've been, a North Bayite forever. I've been reading your stuff when it was in the Nugget. I remember seeing your face in the paper, I remember reading it from there, and then seeing you attached to this. I'm like, okay, this guy's like on the forefront. Like he's an innovator. And you are. Like I think the story of Echo wouldn't be written without you. Right? It takes a lot of great people.
It wouldn't have happened.
It wouldn't have happened. Right. And it takes a lot of great people to make something at all. Mm-hmm. Right. And I think we made something amazing.
Yeah.
Right. And I think what you've done with the network and the shows and all the work you've done with sports, and you still record, another show with sports, of course, but it's paramount. You've done an amazing job, and I respect the work you do as a journalist. I'm not a journalist. We always make that contrasting difference. But your work has been incredulous. You've been awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. I enjoy what I do, and I've been privileged to be able to do it for this long.
Mm-hmm. Dave and I bumped heads a lot.
I can confirm. Absolutely.
Confirm?
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
Ben's like, I don't want to get involved.
Can I jut in terms of doing some homework for this? I saw one of your initial teasers or your announcement video where it's like, I'm Scott Clark. I'm the voice of reason. Then it cuts to Dave in the gray tone. He's like, I'm the pessimist, or I'm the skeptic. I'm like, this is the perfect odd couple. I love it.
That was not contrived. It's not. It works for us too.
To be fair, it does. It does. Yeah.
No, but Dave also has. Whenever you get into a story, he has so many layers of that story. It's not just as simple as it looks, right, on the surface. So it's kind of interesting that way. But I thought too, right, from the beginning. We couldn't get the mayor on the show because of the column that was written. And he said, I will never come on the show. And I always thought, okay, this is awesome. So Peter won't come on. So let's keep maybe we'll joke about it. And we did for a long time, different things. And, but we've had I think all counselors have come on, right? No, not every counselor.
Lana hasn't been here.
And I don't think
Mac has not been here.
We haven't gotten Sarah Inch on yet either, but Sarah Inch has made an appearance at an interview session during the Home and Garden Center Clipser shows. She hasn't been a guest as far as I know.
Sarah? She was here for, it might have been Small Town Times.
Maybe it was Small Town. Yeah, I'm trying to think.
But she was here.
Yeah,
for sure.
But she hasn't appeared on Essentials, I don't think. Not full time. Not as a guest. Maybe as a clip.
But it's one of those shows now that became more. Dave and I agreed that it shouldn't be like allow the city reporters to do city reporting.
Yeah.
And then we'll just, we'll riff on some of that. Dave has a depth of how many years of doing that, and we can talk about it. Then, have counselors in. But part of the thing I'm really quite proud about is sort of those stories where we looked at things, and there's probably three that was Trout Lake was the first one, but then the PFAS story where we brought in I wrote his name down. Best is his name, right? John Best.
Yeah.
Right. The guy.
The egg guy.
Yeah. The farmer who sells eggs and couldn't because has PFAS.
He's been approved, by the way, to sell eggs. He's again. Yeah.
But he was such talking about an optimistic guy. It's like, oh yeah, these things happen, and I've drilled another well over here, and the water's good here, and and all these things. But we started learning about PFAS more and more, and then we had this whole circle effect of having different experts come in and having different perspectives. And one of my favorites, and I became like a huge fan, was Karen Pratt from the city. Like so smart, one of the smartest people I've ever met. So cool. But the city came in and would, provide sort of their perspective of the things they were doing. And I was really proud about some of those things all of those things, that when we could do a whole story, which, from your perspective, from a news perspective, that's what you try and do, but you only have so many words to do it. This allowed us to, stretch our.
A lot of people really appreciate this long form conversation when we're getting into issues where there's many layers and many perspectives. And we get definitely, I was talking to Gordon Young at the city not long ago about the value of something like this and the value they saw in it, because it was an opportunity for them to be able to better explain their positions and where they're coming from. So, other people thought it was a great way for them to explain their problems with the city's stuff. It is a great format.
Yeah, and I think just hearing from, and again, like I've been here, only for a little while, right? Hopefully for a very long while.
Did you pass probation yet? Are you?
Yeah, I have.
just checking.
But just talking to the guests before, and then being here, and then like it's interesting because like some people are very easy to have on mic, right? Some of them are very more way more natural. Some of them come in a little nervous. They're unsure what we're gonna do with it, how it's gonna sound. They're in the middle of both of us. Is this gonna be like a cross point? And then we have that conversation. We let the platform and the medium kind of speak for itself and have the conversation naturally develop. And they walk away and they're like, "Thank you for inviting us in." Like I'm really happy with how this conversation went because it allowed us to provide more context or to give different things that I couldn't give in a story or a press release. Right, it allows them to kind of flesh out that story or topic or that person in a really organic and natural way. Right, and that's what you're talking about. That this long form kind of content has a place to live, and it clearly does.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I love the other one was the homelessness. And you actually brought an advocate who was a homeless person at one time. We had someone who is renter that takes a lot of heat. Yeah. We had everybody, DSAB, police. We had the whole thing in, and in each of those conversations, you just see the complexity of it all. There's no simple solution. Nobody's right or wrong, and just understanding it all I thought it was fantastic. It was really good.
It is quite the archive that's been built up.
Yeah, the part that gave me a lot of discomfort was something that I thought I was going to love, and I didn't end up loving it. And it was, I love documentaries. I like, hard-hitting journalism and investigative journalism and all that stuff, right? And, Dave's not afraid to roll up his sleeves and do that sort of stuff and let's go, right? And I wasn't prepared for how the heat that a journalist takes or anybody takes when they're speaking truth to power, when they're talking like from, they deserve heat if they're talking from, if they're looking at them from a malicious standpoint, if they're looking, to do something, which I think some do sometimes. But when you're just talking about a subject that affects all of us, and you can't have a civil conversation about it, I wasn't prepared for the heat that this podcast took for stuff that I didn't see coming. And Dave, I have a lot of respect for you, and I personally don't have the stomach to do what a journalist has to do. And I know we weren't a journalistic outfit, and we're not ending or anything like that. It was more of the work that people put on the line, and specifically, we had Stu Campaign in here a couple of times that was doing he was digging into stuff, right? And I didn't realize when you start getting closer to that flame, like, power doesn't like that. And they will make it clear to you in many different ways. And I'm shocked, like, personally, what's taken place in my sphere, just because we're having these honest conversations, you know. And so I still want to continue to support, the people that are asking some of the tough questions, that they get held accountable. The people that are, doing things that shouldn't be doing need to be held accountable. And also having a civil conversation about certain things, right? Like, without all the stuff that goes along with that, right? That I don't know how you would call it, that online chatter where people don't have their names associated with it and they're just saying horrible things about people when you can't have just a conversation about it.
Dear North Bay, as a single mom and full-time student, life can feel overwhelming and budgets are always tight. But one thing I never question is how deeply I care about my community. When I began volunteering at the North Bay Regional Health Centre, I saw firsthand how much the healthcare system means to people, especially when life takes an unexpected turn. It made me think, what if it was my child, my parent, or my friend that was in need of care? That's when I realized I wanted to do more, to be part of something bigger than myself. I joined the I Give Monthly Club because even a small monthly gift can have a meaningful impact, helping ensure everyone in our community has access to the care they need right here at home. If you believe in strong, local health care, I hope you'll join me. Sign up at nbrhcfoundation.ca or call 705-495-8125. It's simple and it matters. With gratitude, Kim Cosgrove.
Spring is here, and that means one thing. Baseball is back. At Source for Sports North Bay, we're proud to be part of every pitch, every catch, and every moment that brings our community together on the diamond. Whether it's outfitting little leaguers for their very first game, helping local teams suit up for the season, or simply sharing the love of the sport, we're here for it. We're more than just a sports store. We're neighbors, coaches, teammates, and fans. And we're proud to support the leagues, schools, and families who make North Bay's baseball scene so special. Wherever your sports journey takes you, make sure you visit Source for Sports North Bay at 1321 Fisher Street so we can help you along your way.
You know who we haven't had on the show is Jennifer Hamilton McCharles at the Nugget. And this would be an excellent time to do it because she's at the forefront of this particular story as far as the mayor's expenses and stuff.
Would you come back for that?
I'll come back for that one.
Shocked. So he's not leaving.
No. Yeah, and that'd be interesting. I'll reach out to her. Well,
we've interviewed Stu and Will. Yeah. We used to have a working relationship with Bay to Day, so that made a lot of sense. But they no longer promote our work. So
yeah, but what I said to Jeff Turrell when they weren't doing that because they said they were going to do something like a podcast.
They do, yeah,
but it's not really a podcast.
Like a
it's more of a
thing.
They do a.
It's a news show.
It's a news show. But I said to Jeff, I said, we still want to highlight good journalism. Like the interview you guys did with Will, never met him before. I thought it was a great interview.
Yeah,
thank you.
I'm interested to see what he does for our community. And I think it's important as society that we
I think he wanted to leave after the Tanya story when he realized he messed that one up. It was tough on him, I heard.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. He took it to heart, right? He skipped a step and he got burned. And that's how you learn. But he died, and Tanya's, felt a little bit of that sting. But that's what you have to pay that price to be comfortable in what you do, and still you can cut corners and get burned, right? So you got to be careful.
So let me ask you this about, because the hot topic right now is about mayor's expenses. Let's not talk about the mayor. I want to know about, is anybody, what's the heat like for the people that are reporting on it? And what's the heat like, if any, for, is it Kevin Ferris and Nicole Peltier?
Yeah.
They were the two that had the freedom of information that came forward and
Very active in the media.
very active. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the heat they're facing right now? Or any?
Well, I haven't heard a whole lot of negativity regarding the reporting of it. There's some things about the way the reports were that could have been done better, but the fact that they're doing it, I don't think Jennifer is getting any. I think some people might be trying to tell her to cool their jets a little bit and let them have some time to breathe, because people are so off balance they can't even think. But one elected official told me that he actually told her that can't you just sort of take a break there? It gives us a chance to get our breath.
Gary Gardner put in a letter to the Bay Today about a half hour ago.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, and it just came out like a half hour ago, and it says it basically. It's interesting because you just said it. He sort of says that he says, "Hey, I voted this way just to allow the process so everybody cool their jets." He didn't say cool your jets, but it's sort of that tonality is like, let the process play out here, and then we'll go to whatever the next step is. Because you're right, there's so much heat around this. So let me ask you this, because you've had a long career. What other things happened in our city in your time that's had heat around it like this? Yeah, and maybe you talked about it a bit with Will in the last. I'm trying to remember if you did, but I'm trying to think.
Well, let me think about that. But I want to address the thing about the request to cool our jets a little bit, or for Jenny to hold back. What I told this person that said that to me, and I said, listen, we're not in the it's not our job to worry about people's feelings. We can't be worried about people's feelings when we're reporting. We have to believe that what we're doing is necessary and is for the better good, and that we're doing the work that's of revealing and informing people, and everything else has to come out of that. Now, we have ethical standards to do it in a way that it shouldn't be going after somebody and being, what's the word?
Vindictive?
Vindictive. Just sort of like there's a way to go about journalism where you're doing the job, but you're not being mean about it, right? It's how you word things. Now, it's not Jennifer. I go to call her Jenny because that's what we call her in the newsroom. But Jennifer can't be worried about people's feelings, but she should be worried about how she goes about reporting her news, so that she protects her reputation and can continue doing it, right? But we're not. It's not our job to worry about people's feelings, and it's hard in a small town like this because you know everybody.
Yeah.
And the thing is that's one of the reasons why we're in this situation is because somebody was worried about somebody else's feelings, and somebody else is trying to do a favor, trying to help them. And that's what gets you in trouble, is when you start trying to think you can help people out of a situation, or you can make a decision that helps people sleep at night, and that's kryptonite to good journalism, really.
And that's part of the thing I said earlier is like, I don't know if I know I don't have the stomach to do that. And I don't want to say that you don't care about other people's feelings, because I think you do. I've spent enough time with you now about how you care about people, and I know that to be true. But there is that part, this journalistic ethics that you take and journalists have that say, look, we're doing this for the greater good, and we're going to report the facts. And how it used to be when that podcast last week when you're talking to Will, when there was 30 people in the newsroom, there was like these layers that it went through to make sure when it hit on air or on the paper in writing that there was these layers that took place before it got there. I don't know if those layers are in place today.
Oh, I know they're not. And like I was into the farmers market on Saturday, and I was talking to Stuart Bailey, legal.
Yeah.
Like
I like Stuart.
He helps people who are have troubles with the landlords, and he's one of those lawyers that do the God's work. And he was talking to me, telling me how impressed and grateful he was for Jennifer's reporting, and I'm like, yes, it's good. I know a lot about the reporting, and there's things you can pick apart, but no, she's doing her best job under the circumstances without editors to really guide her, and without the secondary eyes to make sure it's solid. There's a couple things she left out on some of the reports that would have provided better perspective. You can pick apart every one of my columns. There's something that I could have done better in every story, but I didn't say anything. I said, yeah, like she is in the position and doing the job right now on this story, and she should get that support. Yeah.
And I imagine that's the same for all the journalists who are covering any story, but this story in particular, where it has a lot of heat. Right. And I remember when I was the comms officer for the local Catholic school board, and when I write a press release, I put a ton of work into this, and I want to get it right. Right. And that weight of that send button is so heavy that I got to nail this. I got to get it right the first time. Yeah. Right. And that, I mean, I'm being light here, but that's just a press release, but something that we're announcing, that's something that is under our own control. Right. There's no duty to, in most cases, report to something that the community needs to know, something that we want to celebrate, we want to talk about, we want to invite people to, right? It's a very different kind of context when you compare it to something like this, where it's if I'm being honest, probably the most interesting thing in our city right now in public discourse, and how much people are watching for the next update, the next big thing, who wants to be first. There's so many different elements at play that make publishing and covering the story, and a lot of stories, have that magnitude. That's gotta be tough to sit with. We talk about having the stomach for it. I'm in communications and media, right? We talk about how they're similar, right? I couldn't do that either, because that would be okay, how am I gonna wake up tomorrow? Am I gonna feel different about what I published? Will the backlash or commentary behind what I published have changed the way I go about my day today? Right? And that's real, right? I can't quite understand it, but I can try to vision it, Do
you want to know the column I'm drafting for about this?
A little sneak peek?
Yeah, you want to? Yeah. I want to talk about, what should the city invest as far as a budget for entertainment of potential people? How should the mayor have access to a budget to take people golfing on special occasions when it's should this and my take is that the city, not the mayor, should have a membership at the North Bay Golf and Country Club for these purposes, and that the economic development department can use that to entertain people, that it could be used as a city thing, an asset for these type of things. As much as Lake Osprey Links, it's not in North Bay. So if they're going to be spending money on something like that, it should be there. And it should be not the mayor's own personal thing where he goes to men's night all the time, right? And that's not economic development. That's just campaigning, right? Should he have access to... We certainly got to nail down exactly what we're doing as far as his... whatever mayor we have next, what they have access to as far as car allowance, mileage, and gas, and have that really spelled out really clear of what we're paying for and what we're getting. I would suggest that we'd be better off having a contract with U-Ride, so it's documented, and that it each time it's used has to be justified.
Well, might pick You Need a Cab just because it's a local company that employs people.
That too. Good point. Good point.
Yeah.
And there's other cab companies or whatever as well.
Oh yeah,
right?
5-0.
Yep. So let's get serious about it. These are issues that come up with this particular situation. Now, of course, there's not very many people I know that think that the spending was good and justified and kept track of properly. But when you do that, I want to know who he's golfing with. If that's really a public meeting, I want to know who's taken out and when.
But my pushback on that would be, wouldn't you want to know who economic development is taking out to dinner?
Yes.
Yeah, but
Yes.
so much of that is actually secret, right? And the reason it's secret.
Okay, so then if that's the case, if it can't be on the public record, it shouldn't be done. Transparency.
So are you saying now? Because my guess is that I could be totally wrong when I say this, so everybody bear with me, is like economic development probably does that right now, right? That they have probably an expense account where they take people out because there's businesses thinking of coming here and this is the little I know, right? Is they're thinking of coming here. So they go to meet different people and that if that's all got to be on the public record, then
It's kind of hard to make a deal.
it's hard to make a deal.
Well, maybe it doesn't say the people that are being taken out for potential economic development, but the mayor meeting somebody, I think should. I don't necessarily think this current system should be discussed.
I
We
hear
should
what you're
come up
saying.
with an understanding of what is good and what isn't. Now, like for example, the $746 dinner at Churchill with John Severino and Anthony Rhoda and Peter. It actually included the lieutenant governor who was here, and they were taking that person out, and that's justified, somewhat. I think maybe worth a discussion. It wasn't just these people already at the public trough getting a free meal by the city. They were actually doing it for a reason. They were hosting a visit from a dignitary, right?
Right.
But that didn't make the report. That was in the media.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, because
that
when you
name
said
was
that,
available, but it wasn't
why wasn't that? Okay, that's
because it doesn't look the same, right?
It doesn't look the same. As soon as you put they're taking out the lieutenant
Now
governor.
the lunch at Average Joe's with George Burton, I think, is ridiculous.
Why? Our largest,
on, yeah.
one of the largest employers of our community. Currently, the Canberra College is doing more building and developing than probably most people in the city with all the different things that they're involved with.
As they
Wouldn't there
should. They brought on all kinds of international students that didn't have housing, so they caused the rents to go up. So why were we buying them lunch?
See, now we're debating.
Yeah,
but
I love
I think. But if it was
I'm
a different
spectating.
type of developer, it was a different. Would it have been an okay?
Well, George Burton has his own expense account. Why are we taking him to lunch?
Well, so would someone else say from. Again, I'm not going to say a company name.
No,
See,
it's-
this is
it's a good
now
idea if you
involved,
don't
right?
do that,
But
yeah.
a large developer, it was in town. It's like, hey, let's have lunch.
How about we stop taking out people
Because
for
it would
lunch?
look worse if the developer was taking the mayor out to lunch. Would
So
it
they
not?
should each pay for their own, right?
That's
Maybe we get down to that.
We should
Maybe
always
go
split
Dutch.
the bill.
Yeah, let's go Dutch because that's our
Yeah.
rule in this city.
yeah,
We'd love to do something for you, but we're not doing that.
and let's do Dutch.
Yeah. Maybe a
good
bottle
practice.
of wine on the corporate credit card.
It just.
But
because-
anyways, that's a discussion we should have. Okay, so what should be available and what is a clear thing? Because it's being alleged that there was some vagueness there, right? Well, let's make it unvague. And I am all for the fact that we don't be buying everybody lunch around here.
Do you realize how many people are not going to buy you lunch after this? No one's going to take you out for lunch or dinner.
Well,
at this
anybody can
point.
take me out for lunch. I'm not a public official yet.
Yet.
But I mean, I think those conversations, no matter what side of the quote unquote aisle of this, story that you kind of fall on, I think like the root of it, aside from like the drawback and the flashbang of who and the what and everything else, the conversation piece of this is really interesting.
Yes.
Because like what changes, because they're right now, I mean, maybe not right this second, but like in the last couple of weeks, they've talked about changes in policy, right? And how that looks at City Hall and what has to be reported and changed differently or made different, right? Those, as a person who like, again, like I don't really have a direct dog in this fight. I don't have no investment, but like I want to see, and I said it on the episode last week, I was like, I don't care if my, city councilors like each other, I just want them to get stuff done, right? Like I want them to, move and progress the things and the needs of which the city requires them to, right? I actually find it better if they don't get along. That sounds really kind of maybe contrarian, but like I don't want them to always see eye to eye, because then at a certain point, some things will get done, a lot of things might not get done. I want them to have that dialogue. And if this dialogue from all this, from the community, is encouraging a reflection or a review of policy and procedure, then that for me is good, right?
It might be one of the only achievements Peter Chirico can check mark off his list.
So you said you're writing
He's
columns.
improving transparency.
Are you back to writing columns?
I'm going to start writing columns again. Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe on a monthly basis.
4?
Small Town Times.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Any news to report? Are you doing anything?
No, I think I'm going to do like a monthly podcast that looks at local issues, sort of a summation and sort of a look ahead sort of thing on a monthly basis rather than a weekly. And then a column that's that kind of goes with it.
Yeah.
I think that's capacity I will be able to do.
I know you and I talked about like some time ago, it was sort of like you had said, you know what, maybe some of these issues, it should be Small Town Times just because they're hot issues. And, we also, run a business with different clients.
Well, that's one of
it was really difficult.
That's part and parcel to my decision to sort of start over a little bit as far as our work and business relationship, as well as give you a little bit of a laneway to change things so that you can continue doing what you're doing without my specter. Because if I start writing columns, it doesn't matter if I'm doing them on Small Town Times or not. It's connected to you.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have to worry about losing your clients or losing advertisers for you. I'll write it so that I just don't get myself killed and sued.
Tell me what you've learned through this process, because outside of this room, you and I tried to figure out stuff and we bumped heads a number of times, so that's fine. I think we respected each other and keep going forward. I eventually had to, I have to focus on some of the other areas within the building that we have to look after, but what are some of the things that you learned? What I learned was the amount of work and effort that goes into what the team does here is incredible. Everybody involved, especially when it comes to high school sports too. That's crazy, but
that's another topic. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's great work that everybody's doing, and it's way more than I thought it was going to be.
Well, I learned some of my administrative limits and how I don't enjoy filling out forms and reports.
Fair, which is fair. That's
We
fair.
can keep that one vague.
Yeah. I learned what my passion really is, and it hasn't really changed. I am passionate about journalism, but I'm also very passionate about community service, and I'm trying to find that balance, and I want to continue doing it. So I'm going to take a little bit of a break as far as the weekly stuff and kind of see how I can get a new plan going that works in all avenues that I want, just based on what I've learned here, what I know now, what I've tried before. I think I can sort of, like I'm doing a biography for somebody, and I really enjoy that work. It's good service, people who want to tell their own life stories, and sometimes it's under trying circumstances, and I think that's important. I like doing this type of stuff. I love covering a sports game and getting good video, but I really don't have a passion that is needed to do it properly, to be at the full game and to really be immersed in the sport. And so I feel like I'm shortchanging. So I'm forcing you to come up with a new plan there. Yep. And it's only fair that I do that before the fall season starts.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's kind of, I knew I definitely didn't want to go through another full season of it. So now is a good time to come up with a new plan. I might be available for assignments if you need them, and I'll certainly contribute if I find something. And I think everybody should be helping and contributing to these podcasts we're doing. More people should get behind them and contribute. And so if there's a better system, I know some people that would do things on a regular basis if there's any type of budget for it, and just sort of split it up rather than me being paid for it, right? So,
Chris, what's the future for this Echo Essentials podcast?
Well, we have a lot of things to talk about. There's a lot of different stories.
There's a lot of heat out there.
I like to stay cool, typically, but there doesn't mean there's things we can't talk about, right? And I think whether it's drawing comparisons in relations to how things at the provincial or federal level affect us locally, or things that are happening, because we, like you said, we're not journalists here. We have journalists here, but we are not journalists covering things from a different conversational standpoint. There's ways in which we can tell and help share the stories of North Bay, in a captivating, current way. And I think we're going to go ahead and do those things. And we have different unique ways. You talk about the team, what Ben and I can do to kind of, make sure we, really try to bring up Echo, because you guys have made a fantastic foundation, right? Like, I think when I came on board here and we talked about, what's next and what's the vision and all these things, I saw tremendous potential, right? And like, I wouldn't be here if there wasn't. I think there's so much that we can still do, that we have done, that we're going to do, and that, we talk about being, on the pages of history for our city. If I get to be on one line of it, I'm okay with that, right? And I think Echo can be on many pages, and so there's so much more we can write.
Dave and I's vision was, hey, let's have two crusty old white guys talk about things, and we'll build the new audience.
Achieved.
Dave, it was a good start. We're going to hand the keys over to the kids now. Let them figure it out and see where it goes next.
I didn't give my lesson. You didn't ask, but my lesson is
You just started your 10 minutes ago.
Do not draw the ire of Dave Dale. The lightning rod.
I don't know about that. I've done that a few times.
The lightning rod.
I think I'm a reasonable guy. Do you guys want a scoop?
Oh, gosh. Are we going to be sued if we get it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well,
what's the scoop?
Let's dangle the carrot. Why not? Go ahead.
I'm considering running for North Bay Council again.
Oh.
I'm going to decide probably in December.
When is the next election?
Year
then it'll be a year from
November.
Yeah, so a year out.
Yeah.
So you're really interesting.
Well, I think my skill set could be helpful in council based on what I've been seeing in the last little while. I know that there's a lot of people afraid to try to articulate things. There's some that are doing better jobs than others. But I think I can work as, believe it or not, a quarterback on some issues and mitigate on others. I think I've seen enough around the table as a union president and as a journalist and talking to and being, covering council. I think I have something to contribute. I'm 60 now, right? So, time to put my big boy pants on, try to be a bit of an adult and try to help out the city in the best way I can.
Well, when that time comes, if it time comes, I will be the couch commentary quarterback here. I'll be picking you apart. I'll be, criticizing your. I'm just kidding, but
no, you can't. Yeah, right.
I think you'd be great at it.
Yeah,
I've worked with you long. I totally agree that you're reasonable. You can talk. You can, especially through.
I agree.
When you and I ever had heated moments, then you're always the calm one, not me. So and we were able to talk through it, right, and get to where we needed to get to. Right, and to keep moving. So I can see how you could manage that really well at that level. That's really, really interesting. Because it will be really, really interesting, I guess, coming up soon when people start going, okay, with everything that's going on, like what's about to happen.
I've heard about 3 more guys, 3 more counselors that aren't running again. There's going to be a void to fill. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So
and stay tuned,
really
right?
interesting.
Yeah. Tell me what's next. Maybe that's what's next. We'll talk about that. But Dave, it's always been a pleasure. Thank you. You've taught me many. We'll have you back on at some point in the future.
I taught you much.
You have taught me plenty. You have all my numbers and inboxes. You know where to find me. Dave, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
And Ben, I have enjoyed working with you. I know we had a rough spot the first couple months.
Did we? I don't think so.
It's because Dave wouldn't do any paperwork. It's like, how come Dave's paperwork isn't done?
I was a little demanding on the video stuff, maybe.
Oh, I blew up on you once.
Yeah.
That was
You
pretty.
did really?
One
I've
time.
never seen
Well,
you
that
get
It was
angry.
a stressful day.
That
I've
wasn't
never
a-
seen Ben get
I've
angry.
never seen Ben
It
get
wasn't
angry.
it wasn't a blow up.
It was for me.
He stood up and he indicated to me that if he had enough of what I was saying,
And I had to leave the room.
and I said, Fine.
I slammed the table and I left.
I did not know that story.
It was when we did the mining showcase.
Yeah.
He was under a lot
Yeah.
of pressure, and I wanted to correct something, and there was no time. And he
Oh,
was
so
under,
we
like,
were
was
in
doing- I was-
Toronto and you guys were...
Well, because you were like, we need this now. And I'm like trying to figure it out between everybody.
Yeah.
And I was recording. We had another recording that took up my whole day. So, and it was an edit. It was like a really small edit that was like,
I thought it was important.
and I thought it wasn't. And I was just,
yeah.
it was, anyways.
But I think we've gotten along, and I like
have,
working
yeah.
with you. So
It's been fun. It's
I'm
been
hoping to work with you some more.
yeah, for sure. And you've done a lot for sports, right? So you make my life easy 90% of the time.
Yeah.
Which is,
thank you, thank you.
good.
Just when I've had enough.
Just when you don't like actually title stuff, you know, and I have to go through all the
The
footage,
details? Yeah.
but yeah, that's it.
Yeah, sorry for that last one.
Oh, it's fine.
I think it was Joey's, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's okay. Chris got it. I was on vacation. It's fine.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
We still have one more episode to disappoint me. It's okay.
I'll do my best to disappoint you, Ben.
Thank you for listening. We welcome you to share your opinions in the comment section, like, share, subscribe, wherever you get your podcast, whether that's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you find us. Thank you so much for listening. My name has been Chris Piekarski.
I'm Dave Dale.
And I'm Scott Clark.
Thanks a lot.